Gelsinger fires back at recent stories about 18A's poor yield and schools' social media commenters on defect density and yield. Former Intel Chief Executive Pat Gelsinger believed in the company 18A process technology. Having joined Intel at a tough time and doing his best to revive the company before retiring, Pat Gelsinger is yet to see the fruit of his decisions as the chief executive of Intel. However, based on his claim that the 18 process technology, the pinnacles of his 5 nodes in 4 years plan is a success. Being outsisted by the board, Gelsinger now has more time to respond to messages on X, which adds some color to what's happening with Intel's node development. Pat Gelsinger responded to the Patrick Moorhead post claim that rebuffed the story about Broadcom being disappointed with Intel's 18A due to the low yield was fake news. The original story emerged in early September, right after the Intel stand. The CEO, Pat Gelsinger, disclosed the defect density D0 of 18A, which back it was the 0.4 defect scale centimeter. I'm so very proud of the TD18A team for the incredible work for the progress they are making, Gelsinger wrote in an X post. Given the 18 was several quarters away from the mass production at that time, such a defect density was good enough, though worse than the TSMC. For instance, the defect density of the TSMC's N7 and N5 verification process was about 0.33 defect scale centimeter. 3 quarters before mass production, which was the same point where the Intel's 18A was in early September. It's commonly believed that the defect density below 0.5 defect per scale density is good. 0.5 defect scale centimeter. Though when it comes to the yield the chips, everything depends on the size of the die. So the Broadcom is known for its gigantic system in packages for AI with compute chiplet close to the size of the reticle, which in the case of the EUV lithography tools is 858 square millimeter. Let's assume that we are dealing with 800 square millimeter dies, which is the size of the one NVIDIA Skylake GPU chiplet. There are 2 chiplets, but A100, B100, and B200 processor. In this example, there are 59 to 65 die candidates on a 300 millimeter wafer. Assuming that we are dealing with a hypothetical 23 and 34.8 square meter die, depending on the various parameters, the width defect density of the 0.4 defect scale centimeter. That gives us 5 perfect dies per wafer at a yield of around 9%. In the case of the defect density of 0.2 defect per scale centimeter, we are already talking about the 50 perfect dies and a yield of 24.9%. There are several catches to be aware of in such a calculation. First, both Broadcom and NVIDIA implement huge redundancies in their designs, so even with relatively high defect density, they can get a salable die to fully justify the production of a 300 millimeter wafer using an advanced node, depending on the client and contract. This might be at $2,000 to $20,000 per wafer, which means that their actual yield is well above the one we got from the publicly available yield calculator. Secondly, Not all processors are large. For example, Apple's A18 Pro system on chip for iPhone 16 Pro smartphones in 1.05 square millimeter, and this is a very big processor for consumer devices. 105 square millimeter, let's assume it is an 11 inches 9 millimeter design. It gives us 625 die candidate for a 300 millimeter wafer and an added defect density of 0.4 defect per square centimeter. It gives us 586 perfectly yielded dies at a 26.2% yield. Again, Apple probably implemented loads of redundancy into its design, so the actual yield of sellable chips is higher. In general, Intel says each 18A process technology show a promising defect density figures of 0.4 defect per square centimeter for now. While this density is slightly higher than TSMC's benchmarks at a comparable stage of development, it is within the industry standards for advanced nodes and sufficient for generating usable yield depending on the die size and design redundancies. Larger dies like Broadcom's and NVIDIA AI chiplet face more significant yield challenges, but advanced redundancy techniques should probably mitigate these issues, enabling a viable number of sellable chips. Meanwhile, the smaller processors, such as Apple's A18 Pro, achieve a significant higher yield even at the same defect density. And next one is next article is about Morris Chang on Intel, Gelsinger, and Samsung. Intel seems to be looking for both a new strategy as well as a new CEO, which is very hard, said Morris Chang. Chang at the launch of his new book in Taipei, report the Nikkei. Chang said that he found Pat Gelsinger's attitude to TSMC hostile, adding he had been friends with Bob Noyce and Gordon Moore and been close to many Intel CEOs, but not to Gelsinger. Previously, Chang had described Gelsinger as discourteous and a bit cocky. On Samsung's situation, Chang commented, "As far as I know, what Samsung faces is mainly technologically challenges rather than administrative. However, South Korea political turmoil is no help to the operation of a company." Chang said he had often been asked if Intel had asked him for consultancy advice. "They've not," he said, "and I wouldn't consult for them if they did." Okay, it hasn't been reported that TSMC canceled the Intel discount because of remarks Gelsinger made about the stability of Taiwan fab due to China's threat. According to Reuters, the discount given on 3 nanometer wafers was 40%, representing $23,000 per wafer. Currently, Chang's book is only available in Chinese, yes. Next is, this is Reuters. The latest U.S. clampdown on China's chips hit the semiconductor tool makers. Okay, summary. The flags of the China's U.S. are displayed on a printed circuit board PCB with the semiconductor chips, and its illustration picture taken February 17, 2023. Okay, summary. So, Suisure, CN, Qingdao, and Shenzhen Pansun, fabs added to Entity List. Netherlands, Japan exempted from expanded foreign direct product rule. US will restrict high bandwidth memory shipped to China. 2nd December, the United States on Monday launched its hard crackdown in 3 years on China's semiconductor industry, curbing exposure to 150 companies, including the chip equipment maker Naura Technology Group, among other moves. The effort to hobble Beijing's chip-making ambitions also hits Chinese chip tool makers Piotech, ACM Research, and SI Carrier, Silicon Carrier Technology with a new export restriction as part of the package, which also takes aims at a shipment of advanced memory chips and more chip-making tools to China. The move is one of the Biden administration's last large-scale effort to stymie China's ability to access to produce chips that can help advance artificial intelligence for military applications or otherwise threaten the U.S. national security. It comes just a week before the swearing in of Republican president election. Donald Trump, who is expected to retain many of Biden's tough on China measures. The package includes the curbs on China-bound shipment of the high-bandwidth memory chips, critical for high-end applications like AI training. New curbs on 24 additional chip-making tools and 3 software tools, and a new export curbs on chip-making equipment made in countries such as Singapore and Malaysia. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said the action aims to prevent China from advancing its domestic semiconductor manufacturing system, which it will use to support its military modernization. Reuters first reported many companies involved in the key detail of the plan. The tool control will likely hurt Lam Research, KLA, and Applied Materials, as well as non-U.S. companies like Dutch equipment maker ASM International. Chinese companies facing new restrictions include nearly 2,000 semiconductor companies, 2 investment companies has over 100 chip-making tool makers. So the companies including the Suisure Technology Corporation and CN Qingdao and Shenzhen Pansun Technology Corporation, and which work with China's Huawei Technologies. The telecommunications equipment readers has been harboured by U.S. sanctions and is now at the center of China's advanced chip production and development. They will be added to the Entity List, which bars U.S. suppliers from shipping to them without first receiving a special license. Asked about the U.S. curbs, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said such behavior undermined the international economic trade order and disrupt global supply chain. China will take measures to safeguard the rights and interests of each firms, he added at a regular press briefing on Monday. China Commerce Ministry described the U.S. restriction as clever example of economic coercion and non-market practices, according to a statement published on its official website after the new curbs were announced. So, China has stepped up its drive to become self-sufficient in the semiconductor sector in recent years, as the US and other countries have restricted export of the advanced chips and tools to make them. However, it remains years behind chip industry leaders like NVIDIA in the AI chips and chip equipment maker ASML in the Netherlands. The US also is poised to place additional restriction on semiconductors manufacturing international company and China's largest contract chip manufacturers, which was placed in the entity list in the 2020, but with a policy that allows billions of dollars worth of licenses to ship goods to it to be granted. For the first time, the U.S. will add 3 companies that make investment in chips to the entity list. The Chinese private equity firm is Wise Road Capital, tech firm Wingten Technology Corporation, and JAC Capital were added, and the department said, because of their role in aiding China's government efforts to acquire entities with a sensitive semiconductor manufacturing capability critical to the defense industry based on the United States and its allies with the objective of relocating these entities to China. The companies seeking licenses to ship to the firms on the entity list generally get denied. Dutch and Japan is exempted. An aspect of the new package that addresses the foreign direct product that rule could halt some U.S. allies by limiting what their companies can ship to China. The new rule will expand the U.S. powers to curb the export of the chip-making equipment by the U.S., Japanese, and Dutch manufacturers made in other parts of the world to certain chip plants in China. Equipment made in Israel, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, and Taiwan is subject to the rule, while Japan and the Netherlands will be exempt. The expanded foreign direct product rule will apply to 16 companies on the entity list that are seen as the most important China's most advanced chip-making ambitions. The rule will also lower to 0 the amount of the U.S. content determined when certain foreign items are subject to U.S. control, that will allow the U.S. to regulate any items shipped to China from overseas if it contains any U.S. chips. The new rules are being placed after lengthy discussion with Japan and Netherlands, which, along with the United States, dominate the production of advanced chip-making equipment. So the Dutch government said it will study the new illustration, adding that every country has its own consideration on national security and export controls. ASML said its website that it did not see a material impact on its business, adding that if the Dutch government makes a similar security assessment, so it could affect export of some of its chip-making tools. The United States plans to exempt countries that adopted similar controls, sources told Reuters. Another rule in the package restriction memory used in AI chips that are corresponding with what is known as HBM2 and higher technology made by South Korea Samsung and SK Hynix and the US-based Micron. In the industry, sources expect only Samsung Electronics to be affected. Samsung generates about 20% of the HBM chips sales from China, a person who with knowledge of this matter said. The latest rules are the third major package of chip-related export curbs on China adopted under the Biden administration. In October 2022, the United States published a sweeping set of the control of sale and manufacture of certain high-end chips, as was considered to be the biggest shift in tech policy toward China since the 1990s. The technology roundup used Rather, bring the latest news and trends straight to your inbox. B. Okay, next one is the Transtorrent closes $693 million of Series D funding led by Samsung Securities and AFW Partners. The Santa Clara, California, December 2nd, 2024. Transtorrent is announcing that it has closed over $693 million in its Series D funding round at a pre-money valuation of $2 billion. Samsung Securities and AFW Partners led the round, which was oversubscribed due to the strong demand from investors. Samsung and AFW both have a deep relationship with Transtorrent and a strong history of investing in pioneer technology companies. In addition to the leads, as many notable investors joined the round, including XTX Market and Corner Capital and Mesh and Expo Development Canada and Healthcare of Ontario Pension Plan, LG Electronics, Hyundai Motor Group, and Fidelity, and Bailey Gifford, and Bezos Expedition, and more. We are excited by the breadth of the investors that believe in our vision, and Kathway Vitek, Chief Operating Officer of Transtorrent. If you look at the group, you see the balance of financial investors and strategic investors, as well as some notable individuals that have conviction in our plans for AI. They respect our team, our technology, and our vision. They see the $150 million in deals closed as long as strong signal a commercial traction and opportunity in the market. Transtorrent builds and sells computers for artificial intelligence that are built using the Tan6 cores. In addition to the selling hardware, the open source software stacks really set Transtorrent apart from other players in the market. Transtorrent licenses AI RISC-V intellectual property to customers that want to own and customize their silicon. Transtorrent will use the Series D funding to build out open source AI software stacks and hire developers and expanding its global development and its design centers and build the system and cloud for AI developers. Our investors are great, said Jim Keller, the CEO of Transtorrent. During the fundraising process, I was impressed by how interested our investors were in our open source approach to software. They realized that the way to win is to developers on a board by giving them all the tools they need to own their own technology. AFW Partners is dedicated to investigation in innovative and disruptive technologies that we believe will change the world with a specific focus on mobility innovation, said Bonil Ku, as managing director at AFW Partners, who leads the Series D round with Samsung Securities. The Transtorrent's momentum in the market, its innovative roadmaps filled with cutting-edge technology, and open source software are an unbeatable combination. We are thrilled to participate in their journey and success. We found Transtorrent's open source-driven operation refreshing, especially in the proprietary and often secretive world of the AI accelerators, said Joshua Leahy, a Chief Technology Officer at XTX Market. We are excited to support them as they bring their ambitious roadmap to the market. About Transtorrent. Transtorrent is the next generation computing company that builds the computer for AI. And Transtorrent is the headquarters in North America and has located in Toronto, Austin, and Silicon Valley, and global offices in Belgrade, Tokyo, Bangalore, Singapore, and Seoul. Transtorrent brings together experts in the field of the AI software, computer architecture, silicon design, and advanced systems. Transtorrent is backed by the Eclipse Ventures and the Reader Ventures, and among others. Learn more Transtorrent.com about Samsung Securities. Samsung Securities is Korea's leading securities Securities firm is offering customer-focused, solution-oriented retail brokerage and wealth management services for individual investors. We also offer institutional brokerage, investment advisory, and investment banking and capital market services for public and private enterprises. About AFW Venture Partners. AFW Venture Partners is a venture capital firm as aiming to make the future a better place for children. To achieve this goal, they channel their investment in technologies that benefit humankind. The primary area of focus is mobility innovation, which in their definition covers various facets of the technology advanced such as electric and hydrogen engines, robotics and aerospace, and their enablers such as semiconductor and hardware components and system software. Next is, purported TSMC engineer boasts of the recent 6% boost to 2nm yield, passing billions in saving to customers. Updated, the higher, the better. TSMC set to start mass production of semiconductors using its N2 2nm class fabrication process sometime in second half of next year. And right now, the company is doing its best to polish off the technology in terms of lowering variability and defect density, and they're improving yield. Rumors are already flying about the progress on the node, and one recent tweet from a purported TSMC engineer, the tweet and unverified account were deleted a day later, went semi-viral, garnering plenty of attention of X, formerly Twitter. The purported TSMC employee said the team has managed to increase yields of 2nm process by 6% and creating billions in savings for the company's customers. The purported TSMC employee, who called themselves Dr. Jim, did not reveal any of the key details, such as whether the foundry improved the yield of the SRAM test chips or logic test chips yield, so you should take the claims with a grain of salt. Keeping in mind that TSMC will begin offering its shuttle test wafer services to 2nm technology in January, and it is unlikely the contract chip makers could improve yield for the prototypes of actual chips that will eventually be made at 2nm. Dr. Kim, I increased the yield of our 2nm process by the 6%, creating billions in saving for our customers. This is a Korean alphabet, Hangul. The name is Kim Seoyeon. Usually, it's a female name. The sizable improvement in yield certainly aren't unheard of early the node developed process and improving the yield of SRAM and the logic test chips is indeed very important, as eventually it can translate to significant savings for the customers who pay for wafers and therefore benefit from the higher yield. And TSMC's N2 will be the company's first fabrication process to use gate-all-around GAA nanosheet transistors that promise a substantial power reduction, performance boost, and translate the density. So in particular, TSMC's GAA nanosheet transistors are not only smaller than 3nm FinFET transistors, but they enable smaller high-density SRAM with cells by offering improved electrostatic control and reducing leakage without compromising the performance. Their design enhances threshold voltage tuning, ensuring reliable operation and allowing the further miniaturization of the logic transistors and SRAM cells. Yet TSMC will have to learn how to produce all new transistors with a decent yield. The chip manufacturers using an N2 fabrication technology are projected to consume 25% to 30% less power at the same transistor count and frequency than the chips is made on an N3E manufacturing node, deliver a 10% to 15% performance improvement with the same transistor count and power, and offer a 15% increase in transistor density while maintaining equivalent speed and power compared to semiconductors made on an N3E. Okay, TSMC is expected to start the mass production of chip on each N2 fabrication process sometime in the second half of 2025, likely in the late 2025. To that end, the world's largest chip contract maker of chips has plenty of time to improve yields and reduce defect density. Okay. I think today this is the last article. Thank you for your time and see you next time.